Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. It's time for CCTU's Take 5. Thank you for joining us and making Fridays your CCTU day. I'm Bill Van Amberg, and I'm joined, as always, by my great colleague and partner, Alicia Gildy. Take 5 gives you 5 focused minutes on a key trend, tool, or update in the clean commercial transportation world. It's our quick way of keeping everybody connected on important topics and progress, while we also work to produce a full CCTU production each month.
That's right, Bill. And during our last Take 5 segment, we discussed global momentum for adopting commercial zero-emission vehicles. And this week, we take a look at the acceleration of hydrogen fuel cell technology. To kick us off, we have 4 news stories to highlight the exciting growth we're seeing in hydrogen. Bill, where do we start first?
Well, it's hard to pick. This is such an area of tremendous growth, but I think we'd like to start with what's going on with Volvo and Daimler teaming up. This is really exciting. Obviously, they are the 2 of the biggest truck and bus makers in the world, numbers 1 and 2, and they're partnering together on hydrogen. But now they've really said something more specific about their goals. They actually think that they can cut the cost of a hydrogen fuel cell stack by 5 or 6 times by 2027. That is a huge reduction in price for the fuel cell stack, which is a really big deal. They're also signaling that they're going to bring these fuel cells to Europe in 2025 in some of their first models. Now, they're really targeting the long haul market in Europe. That's where they want to use the fuel cells. And from our perspective, that's actually where we're seeing the best use of fuel cells in extreme duty cycles and heavier, longer distance duty cycles. They also are pushing hard for infrastructure to be put in for hydrogen stations. About 300 stations by 2025 in Europe is what they want, Alicia.
Oh, that's really exciting, and continuing our conversation on exciting and innovative partnerships that are coming together to advance hydrogen fuel cell technology. I'm excited to talk about this next topic. Plug Power is teaming up with BAE Systems to propel and build infrastructure for hydrogen buses in North America. The 2 companies announced a plan to integrate Plug Power's ProGen fuel engines into BAE Systems electric buses. They will also work on developing hydrogen and refueling infrastructure for end user endpoints. Plug Power is also teaming up with a European company, the French automaker Groupe Renault, to do a joint venture at looking at fuel cell commercial vehicles that will be deployed in Europe, Bill.
Well, interesting. And let's continue that trend on infrastructure. It's such a big deal, and production of hydrogen that's renewable and cheap. So a big announcement by Hyzon Motors and Raven. Hyzon's a big maker of fuel cells themselves and now vehicles. And Raven is actually in the production of hydrogen business. They've announced an MOU to build about 100 waste to hydrogen hubs across the US and globally. They'll be placed at landfills to start. Now, this is the same model that we saw with natural gas to make renewable natural gas. In this case, it will be renewable hydrogen. Their first hub is going to be in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is interesting. They'll then spread out to elsewhere in California. They'll be able to fuel about 100 trucks per day on their first pilot plants, but then they think they can scale 5, 6, and more times larger than that in the near term, Alicia.
Oh, that's so cool. Great progress. And Bill, we know that hydrogen is a great application for ports, and exciting news coming from Rotterdam. The Port of Rotterdam is really emboldened by the European Union's energy focus on hydrogen and their hydrogen strategy. And they're looking at becoming a hydrogen hub to really support and enable zero emission, but through hydrogen fuel cell technology. In fact, they're looking at how to create a hydrogen backbone that will serve as a circular system, including looking at ways in which they create their pipeline, utilizing both blue and green hydrogen. Now, this is really exciting. This will also include looking at ways in which they can create public and private partnerships. They are working with the local government to see how they can create regulations and subsidies to really help fund and enable the good work that they're doing at the port.
They're really one of the world leaders in hydrogen. You and I have worked with and talked with the city of Rotterdam itself, and they really believe in hydrogen in that country, and they've got all this offshore wind to turn into green hydrogen.
So exciting.
Yeah. Well, I wish we could talk more about it, but that's our take 5 from CCTU for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us, though. And stay connected to us by following us at CalStart on Twitter. And also don't forget to register for our upcoming broadcast on July 16th at calstart.org/CCT update. Thank you again so much for joining us and making Friday your CCTU day. We will CCTU soon.